I'm Esben, and I'm one of the founders of Userflow, and I'm here to speak about the end of silos, a case for a leaner SaaS organization. Yeah, very long title, but super interesting talk. Before we dive into this, I just want to introduce myself a bit more. So I'm Esben. I'm one of the founders of Userflow, as mentioned. Userflow is a no-code tool for building in-app onboarding. I'm going to be pitching Userflow at 2:30 today, so come and listen to that. Prior to Userflow, I co-founded another company called Cobalt, which today is a 250 plus employee company, also a software as a service company that does cybersecurity. I'm Danish, but I've been based in San Francisco for the last 10 years, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter. So let's dive into the topic. So first of all, SaaS has changed. At least in my view it has, but also in many other eyes. The most key way SaaS has changed is that we've moved from the CIO era on how we sold B2B software, where we sold on-premise software, to software as a service, where we sold to business executives, we sold over the phone, web conferences, and so on, to the end user era, where users are signing up for a free trial or freemium, and then they're experiencing the value of the product and they're buying self-service. As part of that, we are also seeing an increasing trend of the go-to-market model moving more towards inbound instead of outbound. The outbound channels has become too noisy. Things like email, LinkedIn connection requests, we get way too many of those, right? And now it's really the inbound channels like thought leadership, marketing, brand awareness, etc., that are the popular ones. We're also seeing this product-led growth trend. More and more businesses are moving towards product-led growth. And for those who've been living under a rock and doesn't know what product-led growth is, then for me, it's basically a cultural mindset where you always think product first in everything you do. Another way to look at it is to compare it to its counterpart, sales-led growth. So this is a good example of a sales-led model where you basically have the user visit the website, they sign up for demo requests, they get transferred to a BDR who then transfers them to an account executive, they do a meeting, they maybe do another meeting and another meeting, they negotiate a contract, they have another meeting, they get onboarded with a customer success rep in another meeting, and then they get to try the product. In a product-led world, you have the user visit the website, they sign up for a free trial or freemium, they experience the value of the product, potentially without speaking with anybody, potentially they're getting some support from somebody, and potentially they're also buying your product without ever speaking with anybody. So this is a new model that calls for a new way of looking at the SaaS organization. I know that this product-led model works because we at Userflow has been able to bootstrap to millions of dollars in ARR with a team of just 3 people and product-led growth. So the model works. So SaaS has changed, but the SaaS org hasn't. If you look at the current SaaS org, it looks something like this. Basically, you have the CEO, and then you have different departments. You have like VP of product, VP of engineering, VP of sales, VP of customer success, VP of marketing, and the common advice is, as you scale the organization, you should add more functions, more departments, more leaders, etc. In my view, that is not a good way to build an organization. The problems with the current organization is that you end up with a lot of misaligned silos. Every department leader has their own opinion and they pull in different directions, so you never get this like collaboration between the functions. This also leads to overhiring because every single manager wants a certain headcount and you're doing duplicate efforts, so they're basically hiring more people than you actually need. And then this organization is definitely an organization that was built for the sales-led world, not for the product-led world. So what I'm suggesting is that we simplify and merge this organization to something like this. Basically, you should have a product department that handles everything from product management, engineering to design, and then a go-to-market department that handles everything related to go-to-market, marketing, sales, customer success. In order to make this work, I think there are 3 things you need to do. Maybe there's more, but 3 key things. Number 1 is you should merge sales, customer success, and sales engineering into a single team called product experts. Or you can call it whatever you want, but I like to call it product experts. In a product-led world, the role of sales and customer success is increasingly becoming identical. It's no longer about doing aggressive sales tactics or reaching out to people outbound. It's about supporting a customer who already using your product to get the most value of the product they can. So it's basically the sales role has become the customer success role. And for me, that calls for a merge. And for the same reason, it's no longer enough for a salesperson to just have basic knowledge about your product. No, they need to be product experts, and that they can no longer rely on a sales engineer, so they also need to merge that into the role. So I think this is a key thing that should happen in organizations that are moving more towards product-led growth. The second thing is, as I show in my organization, is that you should have close functions report to the same management. So engineering and product reports to product, or whatever you want to call it, and then marketing, product experts, partnerships, whatever, they report to a VP of go-to-market. I think we have already kind of seen this in some organizations with the rise of the chief revenue officer, where you basically have a chief revenue officer who leads sales, marketing, and customer success, basically because these three functions could never agree on anything, so you needed to hire somebody who could make the ultimate decisions. The reason I'm not calling it a VP of revenue or chief revenue officer is that I believe, and this is the third part, that both product and go-to-market should be measured on revenue. In a product-led world, the product team is equally responsible for driving revenue to the business. The product should convert more trials, it should retain more customers, it should expand more customers. So product now also needs to be measured on revenue. This is a lot easier to do if you have less teams, because then you're not adding a fifth or sixth person to the revenue discussion that's already complex. So that's basically it. So this is the simplified organization I suggest. And to give some key takeaways, SaaS has changed. We are in the end user era. We are moving from outbound to inbound. We have product-led growth. The current SaaS org is broken. It has over-hiring, silos, a lot of bad things. So I'm suggesting that we merge functions and we simplify the SaaS organization to make it more effective for the product-led growth future. So a key question that you all probably have. I know this works from Userflow's perspective. We're 3 people. I'm the go-to-market person. My co-founder's product person. And Jonas is a designer. So that's, of course, a super small team. So does it scale? Does this kind of function actually scale? Well, as it's just a suggestion, we don't know yet. But some examples could indicate it. One of those examples is AHA, who's been able to bootstrap to $100 million in ARR without having a sales team. Basically, they have this role of product experts who are supporting the customer instead of having salespeople to reach out to people. So that's just one example, and I'm sure we'll see more examples in the future. So this is it for me. Thanks for listening in, and enjoy the rest of the conference. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Hey there. Can you go back to the org slide? Yeah, this one. So, okay, so I guess the proposal is that marketing is like a function underneath GT. So let's say it's a bigger company, it's 100 people. So how do you see marketing in that, or like demand generation, that part of it?
So the different sub-teams.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because now, marketing is not under the CEO, it's like somewhere.
So I think in general in SaaS, we are specializing too much. Below marketing, you have like different sub-departments. But in reality, the way I see it, product marketing in a product-led world, that's the most powerful team. They're driving most of the revenue. So why do you need all these other sub-teams? I think you really need to rethink the way you look at the SaaS organization and not always like just hire a person to do every little thing in the organization. I think the best example is actually customer success. We realized we needed something called customer success, but then we made it a department. And I'm not sure that was the right decision. Maybe we should have looked at the organization as it was and kind of said, where does customer success fit in, instead of making a new department that handles that. And that's kind of how we've been doing things in SaaS for a while, is every time a new thing arrives, we add a function.
Anyone else? Hold on.
Okay, first of all, really fun talk. Okay, but I gotta ask, you got 3 people in your organization, so
Yeah.
it seems very intuitive that it would be 3 people. How else would it work? How does it scale?
No, that's a good question, right? And I haven't been part of an organization where this scaled, but I've been part of a SaaS organization where we had that old org structure, and it just led to misaligned silos. So basically, this is a suggestion, right? And AHA is just one example of an organization who's been able to do some part of this. But I think, how can I think about it? It's a suggestion. Let's see how it works, right? I think we need to think out of the box. And if we don't, we're never going to change anything.
Will you report back to us later and see how it works when you
When
need to
Userflow is
design
at
things?
20 million ARR and still 3 people, we'll report back to you.
All right.